Hi everyone, this is Juani and welcome to Juani's house. Today's video will be cooking with Juani, and what I'm cooking today is Sunday dinner. Today's Sunday dinner is red beans and rice with turkey kielbasa as well as cheddar jalapeno cornbread. I hope you enjoyed this video. So we're going to go right ahead and get started. So here's my pot of red beans, and basically you just follow the packaging instructions for your beans. I pick through my beans because sometimes there tends to be like rocks and pebbles and dirt in there. I rinsed them off and then I sat them in clean water for about 30 minutes. Something, with dried beans, the longer you soak them, the less time it takes for them to cook. So this was about 30 minutes, and I let them soak while I was making breakfast this morning. So now they've soaked. I've had them in water. I start my beans off with just plain water. I don't add any salt to these in the beginning because the salt makes the skin kind of tough, I think. So I don't add any salt, just cook it down with a cup of water. When that cup of water cooks low, and it's not going to take any time for it to cook low, then I add 2 more cups of water and then a cup of chicken broth. So that's what you see here. In this pot, I have my beans, my chicken broth, and my water mixture that has cooked down, as well as a can of Rotel chilies here. So let's see, this is what that is looking like right here. So these beans are gonna cook for about 35 more minutes before I add the next step. Now that my butter has melted, you see here, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and add, this is a 1/3 of a cup of onions. And then I'm going to add a 1/3 of a cup of green bell peppers. I'm just going to stir this around. And lastly, I'm going to add a 1/4 of a cup of jalapenos. Now with the jalapenos, I used one whole, it was about a medium-sized jalapeno, but I cut it in half, and then off one side of the half, I took out the ribs and took out the seeds. And then on the other half, I used the ribs and the seeds in that one, because I didn't want it to be too hot, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of bite. Now if you had red bell peppers, that would be great in here also. I don't have any. I'm using what I have on hand, and but it's still gonna be good. The red bell pepper will give it more color, but I'm gonna show you how we're gonna fix the color to get some red in here in a couple of minutes. And we're gonna cook this down just until the bell peppers begin to get a little soft and our onions begin to be translucent. And then we will sit them to the side and we will prepare our cornbread mixture. Eating a little bit, actually a lot. You can make homemade cornbread if you like, but I'm cheating. I'm going to use some good old Jiffy Mix and to make this cornbread. And I thought Jiffy Mix would be great because the beans are going to be so savory with all the beans and the other ingredients that I'm going to put in there. So I thought we'll have something slightly sweet and spicy to counteract all of the savory. So I followed the instructions for my cornbread mix here. And so next I'm going to add the onions and the bell pepper mixture. And you see how the bell peppers there, the onions are really clear, they're translucent. That's what we want. So I'm going to add this into our pan. And then next I am going to add some corn. And this is like a 1/2 cup of corn here. And you can use canned corn if you would like. You can use frozen corn. That was some canned corn that I had. And look at that. That is like beautiful. It's thickening up. And just, I told you we need to give, since we didn't have any red bell peppers, what I'm going to use is, it's like maybe a third of a teaspoon of paprika. Just to give it a little bit of color. Look at that. Very, very pretty. So when this cooks up, you're going to see like the speckles of red in the cornbread. It's going to be very, very pretty. So I'm going to let this sit for a minute. Oh, but one more thing I need to add. I almost forgot. The most important ingredient here is some cheese. Now the cheese that I'm using here is some 4 cheese blend. You know, it's a Mexican cheese blend, but if you use whatever kind of cheese you have. I've done this, and if I only had Parmesan, I've used Parmesan cheese. You just have cheddar cheese, grate it up and use cheddar cheese, and just put it in there. I'm not measuring, I'm just kind of really eyeballing this, and this is what that mixture is looking like. That looks so good. Okay, so I'm gonna sit this to the side, as I said before, and my belief is if you just sit it to the side for maybe like 5 minutes, all the ingredients and the butter that you use to saute the jalapenos, the onions, and the bell peppers will kind of gel together and mix in with this cornbread mixture, just to flavor everything, and it also gets thicker. So we're gonna sit this to the side about 5 minutes, and I'm gonna begin to prepare our vessel that we're gonna bake these cornbreads in. It's been cooking now for about 10 minutes. I'm going to add a third a cup of diced green peppers. And I don't want that many in here. I really just put it in here to give it a different type of texture, as well as to bring a little bit of color into the beans. And now I'm cooking my beans now on low, very, very low. And you just want them to cook very, very slowly. The juices of these beans are going to thicken up more. Right now it's kind of watery. It's going to thicken up a little bit, and your beans are going to begin to burst. Now we don't want the beans to be mushy because we still want them to hold some of its form, but we're just going to cook these beans a little slow, and they're going to be so good. That gives a time for all of the seasonings to kind of get into the beans. So I'm going to cook this some more for, like I said, about 25-30 more minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and add our next ingredient. Now our beans are cooking, and they're cooking very, very slow. And see the juices of the beans, they're thickening up, and it's brown now. Before it was kind of watery a little bit. So now the next ingredient that I'm going to add here is some turkey kielbasa that I have sliced. And you can use any type of sausage that you like whole sausages. I've used andouille sausages before, and like I said, I'm just using what I had on hand. I really didn't feel like going to the store today, so I'm using these turkey kielbasa. My daughter isn't here, so I really could have used andouille, but she doesn't eat pork at all, and we might eat pork maybe once a month, my husband and I. So since this is a 2-day meal, I'm just going to use these turkey kielbasas here, and we're going to simmer some more. So this is going to simmer now for the remainder time of this meal. And so I'm going to increase our stove now to maybe like a medium. On my stove I'm putting it at a 4, and we're going to just cook this through. It smells delicious, guys. It smells so good. I've tasted it. Now remember, because I put the onion soup mix in there, it doesn't need any salt. You know, you can taste this, salt to taste, but to me, I think it is perfect just the way it is right now. And I'm just going to let this bubble up and cook all the way through, and warm through our sausages, and I have our rice in the rice cooker because another secret about Juani can't cook rice, so I have to use a rice cooker. So I have the rice in the rice cooker, and our jalapeno cornbreads will be coming out in maybe another 5 minutes, and dinner will be ready. The mini cornbreads, the individual serving cornbreads that I made, and they look really good. It smells incredible, guys. You smell the cheese, you can smell a little bit of spiciness in the air from the jalapenos, and they're cooked perfectly, the golden brown on top. So I'm going to go ahead and put the last two into these into the pots, and
dinner is
pretty
served.
soon you guys will
Here
see
is my red beans and
else.
rice with turkey kielbasa. It is so good. I would not lie to you. And the pairing of this jalapeno cheddar cornbread is exactly what this dish needed. It balances everything out, the sweet and the savory. It was really, really good. My husband really, really enjoyed it. As a matter of fact, he went in for not one, not two, but 3 servings. So guys, I am so happy to share with you what Juani's cooking today, and this is my Sunday dinner. If you like this video, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment below, and if you're new to Juani's house, don't forget to subscribe. So guys, I am going to go ahead and end this video, but before I do, you know what I always say: the next time you're in town, you can always stop by Juani's house, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.